of your FICO. 760 and up, you know that's life goals. If your credit too low, walking on the tightrope. So yo, credit up, get your credit up. Credit up, get your credit up. Credit up.
For this year, for me, my goal is to be intentional, right? Because I feel like I've been successful, like, and success is perspective, right? But I feel like I've done it by accident, right? Like I've done certain things and without real strategy, without getting the right proper personnel in place. Just like you said, you've been raising money for years, but doing it just the way we know how to do it versus going and just paying a tab and getting the right people to really do it at that high level. So for me, this year is about being intentional and saying, all right, if this is my goal, how can I get there, and not focusing on everything under the sun. I need to focus on one thing or whatever it's going to take to get to that main goal, right? And for everybody that's working like 9-to-5 jobs, I want to share this because 2 years ago, I was working a 9-to-5 job, right? I was working at Pepsi as a sales rep, and I always had a plan to leave my job and become my own boss and all this stuff, right? And it was crazy because these last 2 years, I made the most money I ever made. I made the most progress in my business I ever made because I had to let go of something else, right? A lot of us don't want to let go of something that's holding us back because we think it's safe. And I had to question myself. I said, how could this job be a safety net for me if I'm dependent on somebody else when they taking on all the risks? Who knows what this CEO is taking on all the risks and I'm dependent on them to keep my job, right? So a lot of us, I'm not saying quit your job, but what I'm saying is at some point, you got to bet on yourself, whatever that looks like. You have to bet on yourself, have the confidence, take the risk, and live wherever you got to live with the results.
One thing I'll say,
live with the results, right?
Because we have a debate about school. I have debates about school. I have debates about, jobs. Yeah. And my thing is, man, you gotta get in tune with yourself. And you got to pray, and you got to understand what's your route, because what you did is amazing. Everybody's not going to be able to do that, right? What I do, everybody's not going to be able to do it. I know people with jobs that want to keep their job, but they're able to partner with people like us, and they can continue to grow, but keep their job because that's their calling. Like there's some school teachers that don't need to quit teaching because we need to take care of them. God put you here to take care of them babies, but you can also partner with us while you're teaching, so it makes teaching easier. So really finding out who you are, why you're here, like getting in tune with yourself, making sure you build that right team, not making the same mistake we make, which is why, I post about my mistakes. You know what I mean? I'm not the person that says, I made $100 million and I never made a mistake. No, I'm going to tell you, I make mistakes all the time, but you shouldn't make those mistakes because I tell you what mistakes I made. So that's what, again, that team, that partnerships, not comparing myself to, like, I'm not going out and buy self-storage units. I know how to call you and say, listen, the self-storage unit came by my desk. Hey, brother, what are we doing with this, right? It doesn't make sense. And too many of us want to be at the head of the table or want to wear that crown instead of worrying about the money, right? That's why they had, if you think about the stories, they had kings and priests. The preachers keep preaching, the kings go get the money, right? The kings don't try to preach, and the priests don't try to go get the money. You got to play your role and know your role and be happy with your role, and the whole system will work out just fine.